The limo didn't move for 3 days. Every morning, I stepped outside with my mug of coffee and there it sat, long, white, arrogant, blocking my driveway like it paid property taxes. The roses were finished, petals shriveled under its tires. I didn't even try to replant. What was the point? I called the tow company Monday morning. The guy on the other end sounded sympathetic until I gave him the address.
Oh.
Oak Ridge Estates.
Yeah.
There was a pause. You'll need HOA approval. They flagged that area as a no-tow zone. Private property rules. Of course. I hung up and stared at the limo like it might vanish if I glared hard enough. That's when I noticed something. A white envelope tucked under the wiper blade. I pulled it off and opened it. Inside, pink stationery. Familiar cursive. Don't worry, Mr. Ellis. The limo will be gone by Tuesday. Please refrain from causing a scene. This is a special time for my daughter. No name. She never signs them. But it doesn't matter. Karen's fingerprints were all over it. Her daughter, Lily, was getting married. I'd overheard her bragging at the last HOA meeting about the private ceremony and photo-perfect cul-de-sac aesthetics. Translation: free valet parking on my lawn. I looked over at her house. Curtains shifted. Just a sliver. She was watching. Denise told me to let it go. It's just a few days, she said, rubbing my shoulder. We've dealt with worse. But it wasn't just about the limo. It was the way she did it. No knock. No ask.
Just take.
Like our space, our peace, hell, our home, was hers to use when convenient. And I started noticing more. The sprinklers went off at weird times, right after I watered the lawn, soaking the driveway until it looked sloppy. A neighbor I'd waved to for months suddenly crossed the street when I approached. My daughter's car got tagged with a visitor sticker even though she was in our driveway, not on the curb. Then Tuesday came. The limo didn't move. I walked over to Karen's front door, knocked 3 times. She answered in pearls and a robe. Yes, she said, like I was a salesman. I need that limo off my driveway. You said Tuesday. She smiled, slow and sugary. The driver had an emergency. Should be gone by tomorrow. You know how weddings are. So emotional. She added a fake laugh. You didn't ask, I said. You just parked it. Well, we didn't think you'd mind, she said, stepping closer. It's not like you were using the space for anything important. The pause after you said everything she didn't. That's when I knew this wasn't about convenience. It was about control. And Karen Whitmore? She was just getting the limo. Every time I pull back the curtains, it's still there. Long and smug, like it belongs more than I do. I can't pull my truck out of the driveway. I have to park around the corner, like a guest in my own neighborhood. Denise tries to laugh it off, but I see the tightness in her eyes. It's just until the wedding, she says. Karen probably assumed we were out of town or something. She didn't assume. She knew. She chose. I walk the cul-de-sac and every other driveway is clear. Karen's hosting her daughter's bridal events in her backyard. White tents, champagne flutes, ballet boys in matching polos. But not a single guest car touches her property line. That's when it clicks. She's using my driveway as a staging zone. All the glamour, none of the inconvenience. Tuesday morning, I check for a note. There it is, tucked under the wiper again, pink stationery, no signature. Just one more day. Please don't disrupt our celebration. Disrupt?
Our?
I crumple it in my fist. Later that day, I hear laughter. I step outside, and a group of white women in pastel dresses are posing beside the limo, on my driveway, clinking glasses, snapping selfies. One of them points to my porch and says, "Whose house is that?" Karen's voice floats across the lawn, light and careless. "Oh, just the renters. Don't worry about them." Renters. I feel the heat rise in my chest. We own this house outright. 30 years of service paid for every brick. But to Karen, we're temporary. Outsiders. Background noise. I try to keep calm, but something's shifting. It's not just the limo. It's how people are treating us. How silence is getting louder. The mail arrives, my usual stack of bills and flyers. But there's a new letter from the HOA, stamped with urgency. Your trash bins were visible from the curb for more than 10 minutes post-collection. Future violations will result in fines. Trash bins. While a limo is blocking my driveway. That night, Denise finds a footprint on our welcome mat.
Muddy.
Unfamiliar. She brushes it off, but I can't. I check the security camera by the garage, only to find the footage from the last 3 days has been wiped. I didn't even know it could be wiped. Now I'm wide awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling. I replay the way Karen smiled at me last HOA meeting. The way she pronounced compliance like it was gospel. The way she looked at my wife. At my daughter. I don't have proof yet, but I know what this is.
This isn't just a party.
It's a message. And I've spent my life learning how to read between the lines. Ready to dive into Section 3, the escalation, or want to refine this further. By Wednesday, the limo has become part of the landscape, an eyesore dressed in ivory, stretching across my driveway like a barricade. But something's changed. It's not just the inconvenience now. It's the looks. I catch my neighbor, Greg, walking his labradoodle past the house. We've nodded at each other for months. Today, he doesn't wave. Just stiffens his shoulders, glances at the limo, then at me like I'm the one who doesn't belong. Denise notices it too. It's like we've become invisible, she mutters, drawing the blinds after spotting another neighbor whispering to someone across the street. Or worse, targets. That night, a car drives slowly past our house. No headlights. Just gliding by, windows tinted. Watching. I step onto the porch, and it speeds up, disappearing around the bend. The next morning, a small, white sign appears staked into our yard. This property under HOA review for code violations. No warning. No notice. Just there. I call the HOA hotline. The automated voice loops me back to the main menu over and over. I finally leave a message, calm but firm. No reply. At lunch, I take a slow walk to Karen's house. Her front lawn looks like it belongs on the cover of a gardening magazine. Rose bushes perfectly manicured, not a single leaf out of place. Her daughter, Lily, poses in the driveway for a photographer, veil flowing in the breeze.
Picture perfect.
I wait until the shot ends, then call out, Karen, got a minute? She turns, eyes scanning me like I'm a stain on her carpet. I'm afraid I'm very busy today, she says. Final wedding preparations. Surely you understand. I do. But that limo's still in my driveway. And now I've got a violation sign in my yard. She raises an eyebrow, amused. Well, the board does regular audits. You're not being singled out. The neighborhood has standards. Pretty sure those standards don't include blocking someone's home for 5 days. She folds her arms. You could have filed a complaint. I did. I left messages. She shrugs, as if to say that's not my problem. Then she leans in, her voice dipped in honey. Mr. Ellis, if you don't like the way things are run here, you're free to attend our next meeting. Though, it might help if you were a little more neighborly. Neighborly. There it is. The word lands heavy. Polite code for know your place. I walk back to my house in silence, the tension wrapping itself around my shoulders like a wet coat. Denise meets me at the door. They put a second violation notice on the garage, she says quietly. I look over her shoulder at the camera feed, blurry, low-res. But in one frame, I catch a glimpse. A woman in a pink blazer, blonde bob, holding a yardstick, measuring our grass, continuing to deepen the sense of creeping tension and injustice. This version walks the line between suspicion and confirmation, showing the protagonist beginning to piece together the larger abuse of power while racial bias bubbles just beneath the surface. Thursday morning, I wake up to the sound of laughter. Shrill. Artificial. It's coming from Karen's yard. A white tent has bloomed overnight, like some overpriced fungus, covering the Whitmore backyard. Strings of fairy lights hang between trees. Someone set up a bar cart at the curb, and servers in black vests pass out hors d'oeuvres to early guests who spill out onto the street. Our street. The limo's still in my driveway. I call the tow company again. This time, I'm not so polite. Sir, the dispatcher says, that address is flagged in our system. HOA authorization required for any tows on private property. I am the property owner, I snap. Doesn't matter. If the HOA filed a shared use clause for temporary events, it supersedes. I hang up before she finishes. Shared use clause? I never signed anything. Never agreed to lend my home to a woman who acts like she founded the neighborhood. I head back outside just in time to see two delivery trucks blocking my mailbox. One of them drops a floral arrangement the size of a refrigerator on my front step. For the Whitmore residence, the guy mumbles. This isn't the Whitmore residence, I bark. That's over there. He shrugs and walks away. I stare at the bouquet. White lilies. Soft pink roses. Pale and pristine. Not a speck of red. Denise steps beside me, arms crossed. They're trying to erase us. It sounds dramatic. But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Every little inconvenience, every encroachment isn't random. It's curated. I start going through the HOA bylaws. There's no shared use clause. No rule allowing vehicles to block a driveway for more than 24 hours. No justification for violation notices based on sprinkler schedules or grass height down to the inch. Then I see it, hidden on the HOA website under a Special Exceptions tab. Temporary space accommodations may be authorized by the HOA president for event purposes in compliance with community aesthetic guidelines. Asterisk. No homeowner consent required. I scroll further and find photos from last year's 4th of July block party. Tables in the cul-de-sac. Neighbors smiling. Karen at the center. Not a single black face. A knock at the door pulls me from the screen. It's Greg, the neighbor who stopped waving. He glances around before speaking.
Hey.
Just wanted to say, I didn't know she was doing all this. I thought it was, approved. You mean parking a limo in someone else's driveway and ignoring the owner? He winces. I guess I just figured you were okay with it. Karen said you'd offered. Offered, I echo. That's when it clicks. Karen's telling people I agreed to this. That I offered my driveway. That I'm part of her curated community fantasy. No pushback. No resistance. A convenient black neighbor.
Seen.
Not heard. She's rewriting the story. But I've got a pen of my own.